Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club, and happy Australia Day to everybody. It's almost sunset on the 26th of January 2021, and once again let's say happy Australia Day and enjoy the rest of the day. Still got a number of hours left to squeeze in. And what I'd love to do is take you through a book summary. I'm up here at Nelson Bay. I'll be heading back to Sydney tonight, so I'll be leaving in about an hour. So while Paula's doing her thing back at the unit, I thought it'd be a good opportunity just to squeeze in another book club, another Jim's 5 a.m. Club, another book summary, and just see if it can teach us something, see if we can learn something, and see if we can continue our path, our journey of growth and development. And once again, thank you to all of those who have been loyal to me over the past 10 months, or less than that actually. It's since May, so probably about 8 months, 9 months. So thank you very much for staying with me, sticking with me on this journey. I never thought that I'd be able to continue at the pace that I started at, but I've actually accelerated halfway through and well on my way to achieving the 1,000 vlogs that I've set as an initial target. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about this book, and it's called The Worry-Free Mind. What a perfect book for a perfect day, for a perfect sunset. And it's a book written by Carol Kershaw, and it's a powerful book. It's a book that we need to remind ourselves with these techniques and these life hacks. We need to continue to remind ourselves from day to day, because we unlearn these things, believe it or not, and we fall into the trap of worrying about stuff that's not worth worrying about, and losing focus on the things that are important in our lives. So the author here tells us the stuff that we already know, that with practice we can rewire our mind, and we can live with a healthy mindset, as opposed to falling into that trap, as I said before, that downward spiral. Here's a dolphin at the back here. I've got a dolphin. Yeah, I've got a pot of dolphins at the back here. So how wonderful is that? So we're just doing a 5 a.m. club, and we've also got a new audience, an audience of dolphins. They're about 20 metres offshore here, just behind me. So how beautiful is that? I don't know if you can see them or not, but they're just popping up and down behind me here at Nelson Bay. I'm at Halifax Park actually. They are just popping up and down. You see them just here behind me. There it is, just bobbing up and down and just enjoying itself. So what an apt thing to have join me in the background. A group of dolphins. There's quite a few of them out here, but I'll continue my book summary, and you'll see them popping up in the background here. There's a calf with a mother as well, and here they are. They're parading. I've got people around me as well, and there they go, swimming into the sunset. Anyway, we'll see a few of them pop up. There they are, behind me. And I've got to tell you, I always get excited when I see dolphins. It doesn't matter how many times I see them, they're just something that I find is absolutely. Anyway, let's continue the summary without being far too distracted. What the author reminds us of is that it's natural to worry. It's natural to worry. But this whole fear thing has come from our ancestors and is not as relevant to our modern life as what it used to be. because we simply don't have the same risks. We simply don't have the same risks as what our ancestors had in previous years, in previous times, because of our biology. We still suffer anxiety and suffer stress and cycles of stress. And as we said, it's part of our DNA. It's the way we've developed over time. And at one point in time, fear, anxiety, and all of those sorts of things, and worry was important for our survival. But the author is here to remind us that in today's day, in today's world, especially if you're living here in Australia, you don't have the same risks. You have nowhere near the risks that you would have had as a primitive man or thousands of years ago. Anyway, the dolphins are just heading off around the point there at Halifax Park and on their way to Shoal Bay. How beautiful was that? I love it. Anyway, so the author says that our worry, our wiring, our brain wiring for worrying was based on our ancestors, on our previous life, on our previous developmental lives. But it's less relevant today because the world is less risky, much less risky, regardless of all the bullshit that you hear in the papers and the things that you hear on the news. You have less chance of being killed and dying early today as what your parents, your grandparents and previous generations ever had. Anyway, let's go to the book summary again and kick on, because I did get a bit distracted and excited, but I love getting excited. So what the author says here is that we basically have 5 frequencies of the brain. The brain has 5 frequencies, five different waves. And meditation, prayer, call it what you might, but it helps you stay in the calmest frequency. So you've got to understand that you can train yourself to be calm through silence, through meditation, through prayerfulness, through isolation, through all of these things that are part of our culture, especially the Greek culture. So issachia, peace, calm, quiet is a necessary part of our Christian life, and to pray throughout the day and to seek calm and relaxation and silence. It's all part of of my culture, but very, very few people A, know it, and B, express it and do it. So it's like a bike. Our mind is like a bike which has 5 gears, and each has a different frequency. Each has a different cog, so to speak, and each can leverage different parts of your brain and leverage different aspects of our being. So it says here, the author says that depending on what you are thinking about, what you're doing is that you're feeling your neurons create brain waves at different frequencies. So you can manipulate the frequency in which your brain is operating at by the emotions that you have and what you're thinking about. So the 5 different brain waves, and this I never knew before. I didn't know there were 5. I knew there was 3, but I never knew there were 5. So we've got the delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. So delta is the slowest and is experienced in deep, deep sleep. So when we're in deep, deep sleep and we go in and have those technicolor, real-like dreams, that's when we're in our theta, our delta brainwave state. Theta comes after deep sleep. So after you experience the delta deep sleep, then you're into the theta brainwave state. And on awakening, we're into the alpha which is our conscious brain state. But it's a calm state where we regain our energy, and just like when we're curled up on the couch reading a book without a care, that's when we're in an alpha state. A relaxed state, a conscious state, but a very, very relaxed state. Our beta brainwave state is when we're at our most attentive. And that's our brightest state that we can be in. And it's the state that you want to be in when you want to get work done, when you want to be focusing, and when you want to be basically the most productive from a conscious perspective. And we've also got a gamma state of brainwave, which the author talks about it being blissfulness. And it's a sort of brain state that you probably get in when you're as a monk, as a highly spiritual person, where you're possibly getting to the point of theosis and being one with God. So worry means that we are stuck in the beta mode. So we're in a beta loop of anxiety, of focus, of brightness. And you've got to understand that it's good to be in that sort of state when you need to get things done. But if you're in that state all the time, it's draining, it's tiring, not only for you, but also for the people around you, your partner, your family, your work peers. Now you know what it's like when you're with somebody who's always hyped up. They just drain you of your energy, and you just can't relax in their presence. So the author talks about the importance here of escaping the beta whenever you need to. And the best thing to try and do is to try and flip into the alpha by emptying your mind, by learning how to empty your mind. And the way you empty your mind is through techniques where you write things down, you keep lists, you prioritize, you delegate, you trash, and you do. Now you can't just continue to have things circulating in your mind, because what they say is that your mind's good for coming up with ideas, but it's not good for storing ideas and keeping ideas looping around all the time. So we need to learn how to manage our mind and to get out of the beta state whenever we need to, and to get into the alpha state. So the second key message from this book is that we need to ease. We need to ease our worries and not spend too much time suffering worry all the time, worrying about the past, worrying about the future, because you're missing out on the present. So the author says here that when we're stressed, this is really important. Listen up, this is really important. So listen to me now. When you're stressed, your mind's ability to think rationally is impaired. Because what happens is that when you're stressed, your body is infused with stress hormones. Your brain just narrows down to the reptilian, to the basic sort of processing capability. And you just can't think rationally. You just can't solve the simplest of things. And we've all been stressed, and we all know what it's like, where you just can't figure out what you need to do. Just this morning, I had my drone up on Mount Tomaree, and it ran out of battery, and it was coming back, and I had to land it urgently, otherwise it would have fallen off the cliff and I would have lost it. And the controller that I had just kept on saying, running out of battery, running out of battery, running out of battery. And the more it said running out of battery, the more I just couldn't do the basic movements to move it forward, to the left, and put it down. And it was just causing me the utmost amount of stress. But I finally got it down. But I just thought that shit, this bloody controller here is not helping me, but it's just stressing me out even more and making me less able to function. in a moment of anxiety and an emergency. So the way we empty our mind is doing what we're doing here today, going for a walk, as walking is an activity that is bilateral. It engages both halves of your brain, the left and the right. And one of the things that can help us empty our mind is to ask ourselves an empowering question. And the author comes up with the following question: when I think of the future, is it full of dread and anxiety, or am I excited and eager to see what comes? The author talks about raising this question over and over again and making sure that you live a life of positive expectation and you're not negative, you're not worrying about things, because by worrying about things and seeing things as black and dark and painful, you're going to bring them to yourself. My sister-in-law in Greece, I remember, always says, careful what you wish for. Because, don't call your fate, is what the Greeks say, Mi parakalasti, mirasu. I forget how it's said, but it's to that sort of point. Don't welcome your fate if it's negative. Try and create a positive future that you're looking forward to, and hopefully you can make that manifest itself. So the author says that you need to look for opportunities and not waste your time looking for problems, looking for issues. And there are so many people in our lives that we've come across over the years where, you give them an opportunity and they'll just look for the pain. They'll just look for the problems, as opposed to focusing on the opportunity and embracing the opportunity and making the most of the opportunity. Just here today, we came down here to do a 5 a.m. club, and there you go. We had the dolphins, we've got the sunset, and it's just perfect. We're creating a wonderful memory and a wonderful documentary, so to speak, so that people can share it. So I'm sharing this wonderful experience with you. And the last point that the author talks about, I'll be quick here because we're running out of time, is that we need to look at the neuro-repeating patterns, or the neuro-repatterning that we have going on in our minds. And we need to learn that we need to change our thoughts about situations, change the way we look at things, reframe the situation and look at it with a positive viewpoint, a positive mindset, as opposed to looking at it as something as being dark, dangerous, fearful, anxious, and all of those things. Because we do have lots of people around us and they think that they mean well, but all they do is sow seeds of fear, uncertainty and doubt, and just cause more bloody damage and more anxiety and more pain around them than what they'll ever know, because nobody has the guts to tell them that they're fear mongers. When their fear is unwelcomed. We're all old enough, smart enough, bright enough to sort out our own lives. We don't need anybody to tell us what we're doing wrong and to get us to be fearful and to be stressed and to be anxious. Anyway, I think that's enough for today, with that beautiful sun setting there in the west across magnificent Port Stephens. And Port Stephens, for those who are not aware, is much bigger than Sydney Harbour. At one point, this was going to be the place of Sydney, the harbour. Sydney was going to be here as opposed to where it ended up. But it ended up where it was, and this is my holiday destination, thank God. Anyway, let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. And let's take some lessons from this wonderful book called A Worry-Free Mind by Carol Kershaw, and learn to rewire our brains and to understand that whilst our brain is capable of worrying and making us sick from worrying, it was only designed that way to help us survive millions of years ago, or maybe even 1,000 years ago when people were fighting hand-to-hand combat. But now when all we have to worry about is COVID-19, an unseen bacteria or virus, then you know that that things are a lot better. You know, we've got first world problems. So thank you very much once again, and I look forward to joining you tomorrow at 5 a.m. from a different location. I'll be back at work tomorrow, so it'll be down Harbourside with another Jim's 5 a.m. club or a series, because I've got about 30 that I've prepared, 30 book summaries that I'll be powering through over the next week or so. And we'll go on a walk and talk and enjoy this beautiful world that we live in, and hopefully see out the rest of January and call in the last month of summer here in Australia. Take care. Be like ya from Jim, and we'll chat again. Bye for now. Bye.